Oh, are we live, Jim?
We're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, welcome everyone to the Tim and Jim Show. I'm Tim Sohn here with my green screen behind me, literally, and in Pennsylvania. It's Sohn Social Media Solutions, and I'm excited for this show. It is literally the Tim and Jim Show today, right, Jim?
It is literally, not just figuratively. Ooh, that's a big word.
Yes.
Speaking of big words, Tim, you have something pretty exciting that you wanted to share with us today. Before we get into our topic, why don't we talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Thanks for bringing it up, Jim. So this book, Perspectives on Cancer, Cancer Patients, Survivors, and Supporters Share Their Stories, is this is the proof for the paperback book. It's already available on Kindle. You could go to perspectivesoncancer.com, and it includes the cancer stories of myself, as well as 10 other people who have been on the weekly live stream show showing up Perspectives on Cancer. And it just feels more real when you actually hold the book, Jim.
I bet. Yeah, I mean it's a little different than when you're holding a Kindle, right? Because or even
Yeah.
Kindle can just be an app on your phone, on your tablet. I think you can even do Kindle in your browser, I think. I think you
Yeah,
can.
I think also you can download the Kindle app for your device, right? And
Mhm.
you can also read it online. Like after you purchase it, you can just click a button and you could just read it
Now
online.
is there gonna be an Audible version of the book?
Oh, now you're pushing me forward here, Jim. Hopefully at some point. But the question is, are all the guests in the book or all the contributors in the book going to read their own chapters? That could be kind of fun if they're agreeable to that, but haven't
Yes.
gotten there yet.
Yes. I know. Baby steps, right?
Baby steps. And I know some people hire voice actors to do this and things. I'm not quite there yet. Uh, but great question, because I know people like to listen as well to than just reading. It's just because people consume content in different ways, right? Reading, listening, watching, like on a live stream show or a video podcast. So
Right.
great question, Jim.
So when I guess are you in charge of reviewing the paperback edition to say it's ready to go? And so got a
Yeah,
timeline on
I
when I
do.
can get this in my mailbox?
Yes, in your literally in your mailbox. Uh, yeah, so I actually approved it on Amazon last night. Hit the button to publish it. So the Amazon says it should take 72 hours or less for it to be live on Amazon, the
Wow.
paperback version. So by Friday, because I did it yesterday, it should be sometime by Friday at the latest.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
So we might be able to show it on the show next week, the official version.
Right.
Or that might put the pressure on me to have it in my hand so I can show it from here in Georgia that I got the book.
Ah,
Oh, how about that?
look at that. Look
See
at
how
that.
good Amazon delivery is.
Yes. Yeah, but thanks for mentioning the book, and the really the purpose of the book is to let other cancer patients, survivors, and supporters know that they are not alone, and to encourage them to share their stories as well when they're ready to do so. So thanks to all the contributors and all the people who have showed up in comments of posts and direct messages and all the things for your support. And speaking of someone who shows up at the Showing Up show, there's Marielle. Thanks for being here. How are you
Y-
doing?
Good
Happy
morning
Wednesday.
or good afternoon or whatever time it might be for you, Mariel. But thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.
So, Tim, should we get into our topic for today?
Sure.
All
What is our
right.
topic, Jim?
Our topic for today are social media updates to help your business grow or grow your business, however you want to say it. Um, but I think what's fascinating to me is there's always changes going on. And so yesterday,
Ooh.
I guess Zuckerberg actually announced it and they rolled it into Instagram. So you need to update your app to see it in full glory. You can now have up to 5 links in your Instagram bio. So I posted in on Facebook, on my Facebook, what people thought of it. And so it's been interesting to see some of the comments. I mean, well, before we get into that, Tim, what are your thoughts on having the ability to now have, I guess you could say, up to 5 links, including, if you wanted to, a link to your Facebook, which it seems like it's your personal Facebook at the moment, not necessarily your business Facebook.
Mm.
What are your thoughts, and do you see it as having a negative impact on all the, quote unquote, link linking companies like Linktree and some of these others? I mean, what do you think, and do you actually click on the link in bio?
Ooh, really good. All the questions really good, Jim. So I think it's awesome that they're adding the ability to add more links. But I think the question is, how many links should you have in your Instagram bio? Because
Mhm.
when people come to your Instagram bio, what call to action do you want them to take? Do you want them to go to your website, a landing page? Do you want them to come to the YouTube channel for the Tim and Jim show? Um, so I think it's important to be strategic. Yes, there's 5, but do you necessarily want to put 5? Is it going to
Right.
confuse people?
That's a great point, right? Sometimes too many choices overwhelms people, and then they take no action. That's
Right.
a really good point.
What do you think,
Oh,
Jim?
and let's see, so Michael, Tomasello, I hope I said that right. My wife's small business sells custom, bracelets, has a small social media presence. What's the number one thing she needs to do to make it worth the time and effort of focusing on that channel? Well, first of all, I love the fact that he's talking about custom bracelets, right?
Mhm.
Because that's very visual. So, personally, I have a couple of thoughts. I don't know, Tim, you can tell me if you agree, disagree. One, I think she could start doing some carousel post of maybe like a line of bracelets. I think doing some reels, maybe behind the scenes if she as she's making the bracelets, talking about, what goes into the process, because reels are still a big thing. But I guess the question I would have back to you, Michael, is going back to Tim's earlier point is, how or what action do you want us to take if there's a link to order it? Because the challenge with Instagram has been the only way I can click a link aside from the link in bio is on a story. And of course, stories only last for what, 24 hours, I think, Tim.
Yeah.
And now you can turn them into a highlight where it's always at the top of the page. But if your wife's business, Michael, is trying to get that, exposure, that growth, that's part of it. But I think here's the other thing that I think we have to remember about social media, and first word being social, is that in order for you to get growth, we're not looking like, I might be looking for a custom bracelet, for my wife or my daughters or, whoever. Tim might be in the same boat, but why am I going to connect with you? Right. So if
Mm.
all we're doing is what I like to call broadcasting, we'll actually talk about broadcasting in a little bit. This will be a good segue. But I think the question is, what are you doing on this social channel to grow community, right? Who are the people that like bracelets that are going to follow this business account? Are you engaging with other people, not just other businesses, as your business so they get to know, like, and trust you? I think that the problem sometimes is we just automatically think, I'm going to create a social account, I'm going to sell my stuff, and everything's going to be hunky dory. And then nothing happens and we wonder why. I mean, Tim, what are your thoughts on this? This is because I think this is a great, great question.
Yeah, I do too. And I too love the idea of custom bracelets. I think it would be cool to share in Instagram, what is the why of your business and what's the story behind your business? And
Mhm.
share, I think it would be cool to share also some behind the scenes things of, maybe actually making the custom bracelets and like what is the process for making them, and because people like those behind the scenes as well. But also the personal aspect. I don't mean you don't have to share everything, but
Hmm.
what's the story behind your business, and what makes your business different or her business different than every other custom jewelry shop?
Right, right. And so to follow a little further here, Michael, about where you're talking about is having people visit the website, right? Or sending her a message through Instagram. Well, one of the things that has come out is a thing called broadcast channels. And I don't know how they're rolling those out, but I do have a broadcast channel on Fusion Marketing. And so I can send that link out. People can subscribe to my broadcast channel. So it's I'm still trying to figure out like if it's two-way or if it's more that you're getting my broadcast and then I don't know, I guess you can DM me if you want it. But it goes back to being cognizant of, you know, if Tim is on my broadcast channel and I'm sending stuff every day, it's almost like it could become like email, like, oh my gosh, you just always sending me stuff trying to get me to buy, this sort of thing. Where if we kind of are strategic about it and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to broadcast about we've got a sale coming up, or we're going to have a live stream on a day where we're going to go live on Instagram. We're going to show you how we make our custom bracelets and what makes them so special so that
That'd be
you,
really cool.
the potential buyer, can interact with us. Now, as far as the website, that website could be your link. And it looks like actually to now you can name the link. So the link could be called, order your bracelet, right? And when they click it, it's going to take them to the website. And it's saying that right there up in the bio. So maybe that's all you need, right? But then the other piece is the message can also be part of that Instagram thing because you give people choices of how to contact you. So the contact could be just message me, right? Or you can give people the ability to actually use the phone. I know a lot of people don't do that anymore,
A phone?
but that's
Like a rotary phone?
right, a rotary phone. But we probably would have a lot of people don't know what that is, Tim. So be careful
I just
talking about
aged
rotary
myself
phones.
a lot.
But
Moving
I think
on.
those are great. Those are good questions, Michael. But my question to your wife's business is: how are you interacting? How are you growing that presence socially to get people to want to do business with your wife? That's I think is the bigger challenge. It's like you can put stuff out there, you can run ads, but even ads, it is actually a strategy of no of awareness. Now that I like you, now I can start pushing the sales stuff to the people that are already following my page. And then the conversion ads, which are the most expensive, where I'm trying to actually sell things, is the trust. And I think too many times people try to jump straight into those conversion ads and spend a
Right.
lot of money and don't see the return on their investment, and they give up on it. And so, that's kind of what I think as far as Instagram goes, where I'd be careful. But maybe she sets up a broadcast channel and she kind of talks about what the broadcast channel is for. Like, this is where I'm going to share certain things that I got coming up, but only if you're on my broadcast channel, because I'm not going to, there's really no other way to do that kind of uh, verbal thing. I will say this, one of the things I like about it is it does allow you, Tim, to put a link when you do the broadcast. So as an example,
Ah,
if I if you have a broadcast channel on your Instagram, you could actually broadcast out the link for your book. Like, hey guys and gals, the book is now released. Here's the link to get it. And it'll take them straight to Amazon, you
that's
know,
great.
a happy day. So I do like that about the broadcast channel as I do. But this is some of the comments we saw as well in the post I made is why not let us put a link in the post?
Yes.
Right? Even with reels, we cannot put a
Yes.
link in a reel. Right? And
Right.
so it's
That's
it's
true.
anytime you're making people take multiple actions, they're likely to maybe not take all those steps. And I think that's part of the challenge. So I think you bring up a great point about choices. And I think even sometimes that can be the issue with these we'll call them link tool type sites is I go to your link tree, I go to your tap link, and then it's like, oh, I don't know where to go now. There's too many choices. And
Yeah.
then I do nothing, right? So I love how you talk about the call to action. Any further thoughts on what Michael's brought up here?
No, I think I'm good. Maybe we could go to Brian Kennedy's comment.
Oh, yes. All right. So what marketplace problem is being solved? Once that is answered, who are the ones the solution is for and where are they? Go there. Mm. That's very deep, Brian Kennedy. Very deep. What are your
It is.
thoughts on that?
Well, it makes me think, and Michael, if you're still watching, I'm curious. It's a small business, but are there certain people that you are hoping to have as customers, or who you've had as customers so far and you'd like to attract more of them? Because it's always important to know who your ideal customer is, right, Jim Fuse?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because your customer's not everyone.
No.
Everyone's always a wrong answer because if you think it's everyone, you end up usually with no one.
I knew that was coming.
Did you know that was coming? Did you know?
I
Yeah.
did.
But yeah, so I think that's a couple of the things that, but yes, yeah, that's like a whole, Brian is like, that could almost be a whole show on itself. Who is your
Oh, totally.
customer? And I
Totally.
love that you're using the word problem solving, Brian Kennedy, because even with live selling, we're really live solving, right? That's what Chris Stone and I like to say. We're live solving because, why would I need a bracelet? I need a bracelet because I feel like I have a problem. I need to have something on my wrist for accessorizing, or I want it to go with something I'm wearing. It makes me feel better about myself. I mean, there's a variety of things that bracelet solves, right? For me personally, right, as a guy, and I know some guys like to wear bracelets, or bands or whatever. I just wear a watch, right? I'm a very minimalist when it comes to jewelry. I've got my wedding ring, I've got my watch, and that's it. Boom. You're not gonna see me wearing chains or any other jewelry type accessories. What about you, Tim? Do you kind of see that as well, as where who's solved, is the problem being solved?
Yeah, I think that's an important question for sure. And I also am a minimalist in case all are wondering what jewelry I wear. I wear a Fitbit, which I'm actually not wearing today, and my wedding ring as well. So yeah,
Right.
let us know in the comments, what jewelry do you wear? We want to know.
And Brian, yeah, I agree, Brian. Sales is solution management. And then when you start thinking about problem solving, then you don't always feel like you're selling. Because I think when we hear the word sales, sometimes we kind of cringe, like, oh, I don't like selling. Okay. And Michael says, target audience is hard to nail down. 80% women, usually people are also interested in spiritual healing meditation. See, but you actually just narrowed it by saying that, because I know there's a group that's very much into the spiritual healing meditation area, and then there are those that are not. So if you focus on that, right now you're getting low, and the fact that you said they're women. Now the question becomes, what is the age of those women? Because that may impact the type of content that you need to create. I personally, I think you can't go wrong with video. I think that is going to continue to be something that grows. And Brian Kennedy, yes, his wedding ring and his Citadel class ring. Well, of course, he would wear a Citadel class ring. I should have known. I have my college ring, but it's so big. I think I only wear it on special occasions. So because I could knock people on the head with it. But I
We're
probably
learning
just
about
don't
you,
know.
Jim, live here. The beauty of live. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's yeah, Michael, those are that's really good information. So, but yeah, I would go back to make that link in Instagram, where you want the call to action. Now that you've given us a little bit more detail about the type of people, maybe some of the content as far as the bracelets, that should maybe tie into that. I think, oh, here we go. And farmers markets and similar events. Events, events. Make sure that she's sharing that she's going to these events in advance. That's another way to get more people there. Tag the event location. And that's another way to get people. It's like, oh, now I know where she's going to be. Right. So if, especially when you're doing that local stuff, I think that's something we sometimes fail to do is share the events.
Yeah, she
Um,
could also go live at her events as well
yes.
that she goes
Yes.
to.
On Instagram. That's right. With her
Yeah.
phone, just go live right there. Let people know she's there. That would be a way to build up the Instagram, because we're not going to talk about that other video app because I think that's just it's too much of a headache, and neither one of us really use it, so we won't talk about it. And Brian's says that's why they call them ring knockers. Very true. Um, and then he says, "Yep, yeah, it definitely it's about consistency, Michael. Definitely about consistency. We go live once a week. That with our other social stuff, we both, I think, and it's not even so much about feeling because I know there's been some people get overwhelmed with what I'll call, oh, I got to post something every day. And I'm going to give you permission. And I think, Tim, you will as well. You don't have to post every day. But what I would say is you should engage every day. And by engage, take 10 to 15 minutes tops, right? And go and engage with people that are related or that you're building community with, right? Find those people that are your best followers or whatever that are always commenting and make sure that you're either commenting on their stuff, sharing their stuff, um, share other people's stuff, right? That's an easy way to, do that. But when you share it, make sure that you're commenting as to why, right? Why are you sharing it? And great to see you, Sue Ann. Sue Ann is an amazing content creator. She does a lot of written content, and she's actually going to be creating a show on the 100 TV network with Ross Brand, and I will be doing a show as well. That's coming out. My show is going to start in June. It's going to be called The Digital Frontier. So be out in
Ooh.
the wild, wild west of the digital frontier. So
Are you gonna wear a cowboy hat, Jim?
and maybe a space helmet. Maybe I'll pull out my
Ooh.
Boba Fett helmet, because we're going into the future, not the
Right.
past. But I was in the Wild West this past week. I went to Sedona, Arizona, with my beautiful bride for a vacation. We did a real vacation, and you may
Wow.
have seen that I was standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. I did a reel about that. Um,
I think I missed it. How did I
oh,
miss it,
you'll
Jim?
have to go back, and it's on Instagram and Facebook. Um, and Michael, we're glad we were able to help you, and that's our whole goal is to help solve problems for our viewers. And
Absolutely.
yes, I think we're all a little nervous, Sue Ann. So don't worry. Even me, I'm nervous because that means I have to come up
You,
with another
Jim?
show.
You get nervous?
Um, was it a? Yeah, I guess it was a long time ago. That's true. That was the past. But we had this guy, and I know I'm probably getting a little bit what call it off track, but they had a guy that was a like a stargazing expert in the right. It was in the parking lot near the place we were staying at, but it was dark enough. This guy had this amazing telescope, and he would just like, okay, I'm going to show you this star that is blown up and is you can see what's left of it. And he just goes zip zip. Okay, it's ready. And then he's like, okay, now we're gonna go look at this other cluster of stars. Boom. I mean, and everybody's like, how did he do that? I mean, he was like that quick at it, but I guess he's an expert in that. And so that I thought that was pretty cool. And let's see. That's right. I'm not really a singer. I've been told I can sometimes, but I did not intentionally sing at that. It was more of a statement of standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. Um,
Yeah.
and so yes, so Michael, the professional derailer. But what we do want to get to, okay, so we've talked about Instagram. We had a really good talk there.
Oh,
So now,
really.
really, yes, and reels are another good piece. So you've got your broadcast channel to think about setting up. You got your links. I love Tim's advice. Don't feel like you got to do 5. I know Jen Herman says just stick with your 1. She goes, I
Mm,
think, to her website, or it might even be a landing page because she wants
yeah.
people to take action, right? Make
Yeah.
people think too much, things don't happen. But what we're going to go to now is we are going to talk about uh, LinkedIn. And so one of the things that has come up with
Mm,
LinkedIn is, and see how we did this thanks to StreamYard's capability to create our own, what we call custom layouts. So we're now
yes.
sharing the LinkedIn screen here so you all can see it. And so uh, LinkedIn's done a couple of things. And so one of the things I want to show you all is this is our Tim and Jim show page. And so you may not be aware of this, but if you notice right under here where under it says start a post, there's this following. So we now can follow other pages as our page. So this reminds me of the old, I guess it's technically still there, but it's not as easy to manage as it used to be. But this is like the old Facebook feed where you could follow a page as a page. So you can do this in LinkedIn now. And so as an example, we can like this, right? It's already set up to like it as the Tim and Jim show page, right? And we
Right.
can make a comment. I'm going to make a comment, Tim.
Okay.
And I will say, love the new custom layouts created by, and I'm going to tag, I'm going to use it at sign StreamYard. And so this does a couple of things. One, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is engagement. We're engaging with this post by StreamYard, but it also someone that is visiting the StreamYard company page sees the Tim and Jim show comment, may come and follow our page. So that's another reason to consider creating yourself a company page because they are continuing to add new features for the company page. So if we wanted to, manage a following here, right? This is where we can add other businesses. So you know what? We're gonna find our friends at Lately right there. I hit Lately. Now they've been added, right? Um, we got to add our friends at Agora Pulse, right? And then we're going to add our friends at I think even isn't it social media Pulse, which is
Mm.
we're going to add that. Our friend Deb Mitchell runs that. What's another one you want to add, Tim?
Um,
Do you have a page for Perspectives on Cancer?
I do.
All
It's
right, we
called
got it.
Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer.
So we go there, showing oh, showing up
Colon.
for there it is.
There it is.
And so now that we're done, you can see it's already automatically updated that. And then does Artist at Heart have a company page on LinkedIn? Is she
Hmm.
that smart? I think that's her, right? Yes, it is. All right. So we've added her as well. So here's the other thing that starts to occur as you get more followers on your LinkedIn company page. So first of all, I don't know. I'd have to ask my friend Judy Fox to be 100% sure on this. But once I have creator mode on my personal profile, Tim. I think you do as well.
I do.
So once you get to about 150 followers on your page, and you can see we're up to 255 as of the moment, we're able to go live on our page with LinkedIn. We're also able to do audio events. So if you want to start doing LinkedIn audio on your company page, that is also a possibility. It's like having a podcast. And the other thing you can do is you'll see over here where it says we can write an article. We could actually create a newsletter. We're at that point because we have enough followers. We could have a company page newsletter as opposed to, um, just writing an article, just making a post, because then we can get subscribers. So I think that this is really powerful. I'm excited about it. I mean, we've been working on this, and you get as an individual. So Tim and I both, because we're separate people, we can invite up to 250 people a month to follow our page. And so that's where you'll see it. Normally, it'll be here in your network. Let's say I probably have a few. Um, so this guy's right. He's asking me to follow Fifth and Core. I probably have a few more, right? So you get that. This is where they're going to show up. They're going to show up in your network. So those are some of the really cool things. Company pages. Definitely, if you don't have a company page, I always say, what are you waiting for? Because if you don't, what will happen is it will go off into the search if people go to your thing. Oh, the other thing, Tim, which is really cool. I don't know if you've seen
Mm.
this yet. So they're updating with the skills.
Yeah.
When you start to put your skills in now, right? You can actually add it to your company. So now
Oh,
my
yeah.
skills for each company, because it'll ask you, where have you used these skills? So, like, even for the Tim and Jim show, we say we do video editing, we do social media. Say I do media communications. Right now, we're teaching you about LinkedIn. So, make sure you go take a look at skills. That's another newer feature that they've added. And then what we really wanted to talk about, which is another new feature, and I don't know if everyone has it yet, but we're going to collaborative articles. So, collaborative articles allow you to now talk about, and I don't know how it works. I was invited. I don't know, Tim, if you were as well, and it might be because we have um, creator mode on
Right.
to comment on these different
Yes.
topics.
Yeah.
So one of the topics that I'm following is live streaming, and there's a whole bunch of them. I think there's actually a way to find, like, there's a whole bunch of different ones. But what happens is, so as an example, this was just asked, how do you balance your live and on-demand content while restreaming to different platforms? So if we open this up, right, this allows us to add our perspective. And if we add our
Yeah.
perspective, we can get what we call upvotes. So I believe if I go to my notifications, I can show you one here. Uh, let's see here. Yeah, I have a lot of notifications. I know someone. Yeah. So here was an example. So I did this one. Um, oh, I gotta share this tab. Hold on. That's what happened. To change. Here I am talking. Okay. So this was in my notifications, and so this was like, what are the best practices for preparing and delivering live streaming lectures or workshops? So I added my perspective. You can add up to 170 characters, and I've had two people found this to be insightful. So
That's great.
what'll happen over time as you start to get more people finding your stuff of value, I'm going to go back to this tab, and I'm gonna show you what this looks like. We're gonna go to our friend Judy Fox, because Judy's the one that told me all about this. Is now you will see she is a top social media voice. So they're
Mm.
giving you a badge that shows up on your profile. So now if I
Right.
click that, let's see. right? It shows what she's actually got two. She's got one for social media, she's got one for sales, and so let me see when we learn more, right? So that tells you about the badges, and I don't know if they show right here, right here's where you can learn more about collaborative articles. They've got a video. So I actually I don't know, Tim, if you had a chance. Yesterday, they had a Zoom where they actually talked about this, and they've created a group. I got invited to join that LinkedIn group. So there's, more. This is just starting. I think it's very exciting. Yeah, Sue-Ann, I'm not 100% sure yet if it's based on the content you've been putting on LinkedIn over the past that is what made them start to invite people. So, like, if you're someone that's on LinkedIn, but you're not posting, I don't know if, you're gonna get that option. Now, once you're in there, because as an example, let me go back. Judy is got here. So if I go to Judy's content, show her, because this is how you find the stuff, is you go to comments. And then you can I'll find, let's see if I can find when so right here is where I shared yesterday, and she commented on that, but let's go and see. So here's one on social media. So now when I click on her, um, on this social media one, okay, I am able to follow the topic. So anybody can follow the topic. Now that the topic is there and I'm following it, I can go in and make comments on this article, even though I wasn't necessarily invited to talk about social media. Like, what I've been seeing is social selling, and I've been seeing live streaming, and I think once in a while I've seen program management, content management. Some of the best practices that came out of yesterday is you want to try to talk or make like two comments within an article if you can. And I think also you can share this to other, platforms. So yesterday, for the first time, because like maybe people didn't know I was doing it, is and we see this repost feature. When you do repost, right, you can repost with your thoughts. That's really what you should do whenever you're sharing something on LinkedIn, because otherwise you're really not getting any traction on your uh, profile if you just share it directly. Now, there may be times you want to do that. As an example, if I wanted to, and I don't think it lets us. Here is one thing I noticed, Tim, is
Yes.
it does not let us do this as a company page, right? Notice right
Mm,
now, if I was going to repost it, it's
right.
it's right. It's not letting me change my company page to my company page. It's got to be me as the individual. So that kind of makes sense, because this is about showing your knowledge and leadership as an individual. Thought leadership I like to use. So
Mm,
definitely something to consider. Someone like our friend Brian Kennedy, who is a sales, expert. He wants to find those topics where he can start to do that. I think it's great. Good to see you, Betty and Catherine, and I saw Stefan is here. Um, yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, we
yeah.
and
Thank
we
you.
we create that, and for the price of $1.99, we can show you how to do it too. Um, and let's see, that's right. I told you, Sue-Ann, you gotta do a company page, and, definitely the way to go. Um, and then, do yeah, so we got Betty. Betty, great to see you. So I'm excited about what, I'm starting to do more of this, where I'm looking for stuff and topics, that are of interest to me, because you're building up your, you know, your thought leadership, right? This is a great. And what's interesting is these are being done by AI, the
Right.
topics themselves.
Yeah.
So they're very, very generic, and that's where you have that opportunity to really give some true umph to it. And I would think there might be some stuff in there, Stefan, like on photography, right? I would be looking for that as well. All these different things that what are those areas you're smart at? I know there's definitely stuff out there, Sue Ann, I think on content management. I'll have to take a look, and if I can find some of these, uh, I will tag some of you in the post, and then that way, I think then you'll be able to follow it, because I'm not completely sure how that, but like, we see here, there's 1.5 million followers on the social media perspective, right? Where with live streaming, what was it? Let's see. Let's go back and see if we can find the live streaming comment. I gotta make sure that I don't lose us here. Let's see. Here, I'll go to this. Let's see if it'll change that way. Yeah, so like when we go to live streaming, there's only 1,161 followers at the moment, right? So that would be a way to do that. So thank you, James Hicks. It's great to see you. James Hicks is an amazing individual. Make sure you follow him. Hicks News Media. He's ever last week he did 3 shows in a day. It was
Wow.
crazy. He had Chris Stone and he had Rob Balasabas, and then I can't remember the name of the last gentleman, but they were blowing me away because the guy was sitting in, like, he actually had like an office, and it's like that's a different way because he was talking about like we're in the box, but he made it completely different look. Like he had his table set up and he had multiple microphones and he had different angles, and it was really cool. So yeah, if you go check out James's YouTube channel, and he's on all the tubes, but amazing guy, James. Thank you so much for stopping by. But yeah, I'm excited about this stuff that LinkedIn is doing. I think, Tim, and we've talked about it. This is, I would say, LinkedIn and Twitter are probably still my 2 favorites.
Hmm.
And then YouTube is probably 3rd and Instagram 4th. And it kind of like, but like the show is streaming on all those channels right now, except for
True.
Instagram because you can't
Right.
live stream to Instagram. And even though we can go live on Instagram, it really doesn't make sense when you think about it because you're vertical. So I don't
Yeah.
necessarily completely understand the excitement to go live on Instagram um,
Yes.
at this
Yes.
point.
Maybe it will evolve over time,
Yeah.
how it all works.
So Tim, what any other thoughts on the stuff that LinkedIn is doing, or what have you thought of this stuff so far?
I think it's really cool. I think the collaborative articles, like you were saying, a great opportunity to present yourself as a thought leader, or another way to do it. I've contributed to 1 or 2 on topics related to live streaming, which has been great. I have a question for you, Jim.
Oh,
When you comment on these articles, or whatever, when you put your perspective under certain paragraphs, are you getting invitations to certain articles from LinkedIn, or are you like, do you go to this live streaming place and you're able to do it? How
I've
are you
seen a
doing it?
combination. Every once in a while in my feed, an article will pop up. It
Yeah.
won't be like it's an invite. It's like all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, there's a new article. Maybe you want to leave your perspective on it."
Yeah.
First couple times I saw it, I was like a little bit like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then the other thing was, some of them are not necessarily things that, you know, directly that I'm directly involved, because some of them were, and maybe it's because of the way the AI portrays it. It doesn't always like make sense. Like, starts talking in like code, like, well, if you use this, like, no, I don't use that. So I'm not going to comment on that. And then, but like yesterday I was talking about repurposing. of your live streams, right? And I talked about, right, using programs like Lately or Ecamm or StreamYard allows you to do that, and you can turn it into a podcast, and then there was another question, it's like talking about, your video, and I said, well, the most important thing is audio, right? Because if you have bad audio, I don't care if you've got a $3,000 camera, nobody's going to watch. And so I think, those are the things
Right.
I think that can be helpful to people because it's like, oh, I didn't think of it that way, right? When we first started, Tim, right, we were both using, uh, you know, webcams and, very simple, I probably was using I might have even been using the microphone in my computer initially until I
Hmm.
got something else. And so I don't necessarily want to go back and watch those videos, but it just lets you know if you do go back and watch our old stuff, there is hope for you too.
Yes, absolutely. That will
Yeah.
definitely provide you with hope. If you look at the evolution, I don't know if you just look at the one video if it's going to provide you hope, but if you look at the evolution of the show, then it will provide you hope.
Yes. Yes. So
Yes.
yeah, so I think LinkedIn is they're definitely on top of things. They're definitely doing some really interesting things. Like I said, I'm a big fan of what they've done with company pages. And oh well, thank you, our success group. I'm glad you like the layout. Yeah, and I love these new layouts. Right, I just it lets us be ourselves. Right, we are able to
Yes.
express it. And got a seed of hope makes everything possible.
Ooh, mic drop. Mic drop.
Yes. Yep. Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Very nice. Yeah. So I think, yes, thank you again for the awesome layout. So yeah. So Tim, any final thoughts? Gosh, this went fast. Didn't realize we were gonna, but we had some really good questions from Michael, and hopefully
Yeah,
we'll
it
get a
is.
commission from all the custom bracelets we're gonna help his wife. So
Exactly. Yes. Yes. I'm sure that's what Michael and his wife were thinking as he's listening to the show.
good to see
No,
you,
I think
Aaron.
this. Oh, Aaron Montgomery.
Yes.
Hey, Aaron. Um, yeah, this has been a really great conversation, and it's it's always important to at least explore the different social media updates that are out there. We don't necessarily need to use them all or use them all right away. Sometimes we might want to wait and see how it goes, but uh the ones that we've explored today, I think we've both provided some perspectives that hopefully y'all will learn from or find it helpful.
That's right.
Like
And
my
and if
Pennsylvania
and if you
accent?
have questions about company pages and need help, I think I know you can definitely reach out to me, Tim. I don't know if they
Sure.
can reach out to you as well
Yeah.
if you're comfortable with that. And like I said, if we'll have to start thinking I like James Hicks, I know I need to tag you on a couple of these live streaming posts if you're not already posting out there because you are definitely an expert in the tech space, and I think it would be great to get your perspective on some of these things as well. And same with several of you. Well, I think everyone that showed up here, there's definitely a spot in collaborative articles for you on LinkedIn. That's what I think is amazing as well. So, but yeah, Tim, I
Yes.
think we'll be back next week. I believe. I know unless something comes up, we will be back. We don't know who the
Yes.
guest is
We'll
yet.
be
It's a
back.
surprise. But
Yes. It's a
but
surprise.
even if it's just me and Tim, we will have something good to talk about because this was a great show. I love when
Yeah,
we actually get a chance to just be the two of us. So
I do too.
thanks again, everyone, and we will see you guys next week on the Tim and Jim Show.
Have a great week, y'all.